Okay, I'm back. It's Jeff. I've got more league racing action today, and this will not be a surprise to you if you watch the most recent video where I practiced using the cockpit view and no racing line in a Grand Prix race against the AI. But if you didn't see that, I'll tell you now. This league race is my first league race using cockpit view and no racing line assist. So this is, for me, a departure, a very big departure from anything I've ever done before. So please be gentle and consider that I'm a novice when watching this video. I will go ahead and tell you this race does not go very well. I don't have any pace at all. You can see here, this is actually my third and final qualifying lap in qualifying. We had 19 people, I think, on the grid, and you can see prior to this run, I am P18. You can see it on the steering wheel, or on the MFD rather, behind the steering wheel, as Williams does. And you can see on P18, this is not my final, or that's not based on my final lap, and I'm hoping that I can improve a bit here, but the lap before this one was actually not that much better than this one, so I wasn't expecting much. But you do see here coming up on the last, at the very last straight, I am 0.3 up, and I end up P17. So that's not very good. It's not very good at all. I am typically much faster than that. I usually am able to qualify in the back end of the top 10 or somewhere in the 11-12 range. So P17 for me is not very good at all. I only end up that low when I really botch something in qualifying. And I did know that I was going to be a little bit slower, but the whole idea is that it's a little more realistic, and it's actually a lot of fun. I found some camera settings that I really like, and I was really having a good time using this, and I'd like to keep using this. I just don't necessarily know that I'm going to do it in league racing just because of the complete lack of pace that I have. And you see here very quickly, I am P19. It didn't take long at all. You also see a car teleporting around the track. That's Skyland McKay up in front of me, and I was a little bit nervous about being behind him because you kind of never know what's going to happen when you have a car doing that. I was worried that I would make contact with that car while it was glitching around, and it would completely ruin my race, more than my race was already ruined, admittedly, just by pure lack of pace. But it seems like he connects a little bit and then disconnects and then connects and then disconnects, so I think he eventually disconnected. He said he had a storm or something that knocked out his power. So once he completely disconnected, it was a little safer to be around. But for the moment, I was a little bit nervous and antsy trying to stay away from him. So you see pretty quickly here, I'm P17. I'm well off the pace. But I was focused on being consistent. I was hoping that if I'm going to have some success in this race, it's probably going to be because I was consistent. Because I guarantee you, I'm not going to gain any places purely on pace. I just didn't have the pace with this situation to have any hope at that. And I was well aware that that was the case. You do see a couple guys pit here on lap 1, and like I said, I've passed 2 people, but you see me make up a place there, so I'm P16 going into this second lap here. And as a reminder, this is a 14-lap race. I know you can't see the usual on-screen display that tells you how long is left in the race, so I wanted to mention that. But yeah, I'll let you certainly watch the video here, and I will comment on some things that happened as they happened in the video. But I think that my takeaway from this is it's very clear to me that if I want to be competitive in this league, which I do, it's not a good idea for me to race using cockpit view and no racing line. I think certainly that I would get better if I did this more, but I just don't know that I'm willing to take the massive pace drop off that it would require and try to build myself back up. I don't know that I really have time to get that good with it, but it is a lot of fun. So I'm tempted to maybe do it sometimes, for instance, in career mode or my team, when you can sort of control how good everyone is around you, right, with AI. This is a mess right here. That car spins, I hit the curb, and I am completely out of luck. You see me lose a place there, and I'm now a good ways down the road behind the guys in front of me. So fast forward a couple laps here to lap 4. I'm P13. That's purely off of people pitting, not necessarily me passing anyone. And that probably is going to continue to be true, by the way. But anyway, I think it would be fun to do this maybe in career mode some and my team mode some. And I also sort of floated the idea with some of the people in this league that it would be fun to do some sort of exhibition race at some point, maybe in the off season or on a different night than when we usually race or something like that, where maybe we could turn off assists, force turn off assists, or force people to use cockpit view. I think that'd be a lot of fun too. And it would certainly put everybody on sort of a level playing field to an extent. I mean, there are a couple guys in this league who already do that to an extent. So, for instance, Juzzy B is a guy who if you've watched my videos before, I end up racing him decently often. You think we're pretty close in pace, but also he's doing that in cockpit view with no racing line, I believe. So his pace is certainly more impressive than mine is. You see me get past/through Skyland McKay there. It's hard with these ghosted cars because they just act like you don't exist. So it's an interesting dilemma there. But and then Hal 9100, my teammate, does no racing line. And I think there might be some other guys too, although I'm not super familiar. But we certainly have guys who can do better than I can with less or no assists. So those guys would probably have a massive pace advantage in the event we did an exhibition like that. But the aggregate, the average driver would sort of be on a similar playing field as I would be, which selfishly would be kind of nice. So you also see here, these guys behind me are catching up. I'm P6. It looks like, I think this is the lap where I pit. And again, these guys are a lot faster than I am. I felt like I was kind of slowing them down, but this is not a blue flag situation. I mean, we're really racing here, so I wasn't really gonna just, sacrifice my little bit of pace to let them by. I was sort of focused on actually racing them as best I could, although admittedly I knew that it wasn't going to help much, but I thought, hey, let's retain as much position as possible for when we come out of the pits. You see 11 there sort of try to pass me and then turn in on me. I didn't have a great view of him given my camera, so forgive me for that. Had a pretty quick pit stop there, 2.6 seconds. But you also see we come out of the pits and I am P17, which is disappointing. That's right where I started, and I was kind of hoping that maybe just relative consistency would bring me up a little bit, but it ends up not being the case. So fast forward a bit here, lap 9, I'm P16. I think someone pitted or something like that. Then you see Maple Bro here, who looks like he got off track and then is squirreling around a bit. I managed to get past him, and then I am focused on trying to stay in front of him because he's definitely faster than I am, but I was hoping maybe he's got some damage. Maybe he'll need to pit. Maybe he hasn't pitted yet. I don't know. Take whatever situation you want. I was hopeful that if I just try to keep at least a little bit of pace that I can stay in front of him and hopefully secure a P15 finish in my first and possibly only league race using these settings. The bad news is he pretty quickly catches me, and he's absolutely got DRS here. I don't have DRS. I've got absolutely no ERS. You see me at 6% there, I think, on the MFD, and that's not great. So he blows past me pretty easily. I didn't really force the issue. He's certainly got more pace than I do, and I wasn't really in a position where I could take advantage at all. You do see me get DRS there, and I try to make up some ground. I'm not able to, and just sort of trying to stay as close as I can within range of him. I know we've got another DRS zone coming up, so I'm hoping that I can do okay within staying in range of him, but it's not looking great. I can't see my delta right now, but I'm feeling pretty confident that it's not less than a second. You see me go into this hairpin here and hit the DRS zone, and I do not get DRS. So it was pretty much goodbye to that pretty quickly. So we fast forward a bit here, and you actually see someone in front of me going into the pits. I think it was Maplebro. So I go up to P15. The person behind me is in P16, obviously. And then fast forward here to the last lap of the race. I didn't see another car for the rest of the race. I was not passed by the person who pitted. So we roll into the pits. I got no penalties, but it was a P15, so it's absolutely not great. I'm probably not going to use these settings again. This was brutal. It wasn't fun to be this uncompetitive, but it was immersive and fun to experience that view. So maybe I'll keep doing it again in other races. I don't know.